For renowned chef Tom Bordwell, the only thing he loved more than food was driving his 1969 GTO Judge. Every Sunday night, he'd pop the top and take the kids out for a sunset cruise in his Cherry ride. But Bordwell had no clue someone else was looking to get behind the wheel of his classic muscle car. Known as the Dangler because of his technique, this infamous thief specialized in making bitching cars disappear. The Judge was next on his list. But the mission turned impossible. Somehow his slack line got tangled with his leg, leaving the Dangler to dangle. Sometimes life becomes a game of inches. The rope around his foot is just out of reach, while below the Dangler is a mere fingertip from his prize. The clock begins to tick on the inverted thief.
So what happens over time when we hang upside down like that, the blood pools in the sinuses, it backs up the ability of more blood to enter into the brain sinuses. The brain sinuses can't handle that pressure.
After 3 hours of struggling, his rising blood pressure begins to creep into the danger zone.
We get these venous or vein hemorrhages. These can be quite massive. That could lead to death.
By hour 12, the Dangler is fading out of consciousness. At 24 hours, the pressure level of blood pooling in the brain builds to a point of no return.
So this guy most likely died from a series of strokes that result from venous hemorrhages. So his veins can't handle that pressure. They start to blow open. As they blow open, they impair the ability of the blood to come in, and they cause strokes all over certain areas of the brain. Quite quickly, once the first stroke started to happen, or the first hemorrhages in the eye, things went downhill.
It's still a few days away from the owner's Sunday joyride. Until then, the Dangler's just going to have to hang out.
He was born with all his fingers and toes. He wasn't dropped on his head as a baby. But for reasons even his parents can't fathom, Benny grew up to be a total a-hole. 26 going on 14, a good day for Benny was destroying somebody's car or cracking open someone's skull. The meaner his pranks were, the more fun Benny had. Even a simple mirror became a weapon for this neighborhood punk terrorist.
Come on, you stupid son of a bitch, come on. Yeah. Drive safely.
Benny blasted anyone who dared drive down his street.
By varying the angle of the mirror with respect to the incoming ray, you're controlling the angle of reflected ray, and therefore you can aim it at the eyes of a driver. Over 97% of the light is reflected.
Like shooting fish in a barrel.
The mirror was stupid fun for this crapulous creep.
Got a present for you.
But what Benny really wanted was to cause a wreck. He angled the mirror just right. The blinding light hit the perfect spot, and Benny finally got his wish.
Whoa.
He finally got what was coming to him.
In this situation, there was such significant blunt injury. A lot of it was transmitted to the back part of his skull. This created a fracture which allowed for brain tissue to erupt. Death occurred within seconds.
Come on, you stupid son of a bitch, come on. Yeah.
Sometimes when people are as big a jerk as Benny,
Got a present for you.
you don't have to wish them harm. They'll just take care of it themselves.
Whoa.
The cheerleaders of Simi Valley U had a great idea to raise some cash. They'd have a car wash.
We're Simi Valley U. Give us all your money and we'll take care of you.
Thing is, there is no Simi Valley University. These girls were strippers, out to make some quick daytime cash.
Hey, how much is it, ladies?
Whatever you got in your wallet, big boy.
Let's do it.
Women have a definite easier way to pull a con than men do. A man will open his wallet to a sexy woman faster than another woman will. Because men think with the heads between their legs, not with the head on their shoulders.
The wash and wax scam was really working, and a sizzling lap dance move to shine up the hood ensured a big payoff.
Thank you.
How about a group hug?
Group hug.
It's really big and dirty. Can you help me out?
Harold was a widower, on his way to return some spanking videos when he spotted the hot action.
You don't mind if I climb in the back here while you wash the van?
The girls put on a 5-star show, and the old perv lapped it up. This was way better than any spanking video.
Oh, you stretch way up. Thank God my wife died.
Harold was about to reach the car wash version of a happy ending. To polish off the old geezer, they brought out an electric buffer. But these little misdemeanors had a bad connection.
In this scenario where individuals are electrified and they're all in contact, the electricity would travel from one individual through the rest of them. So all the muscles are just contracting independently and not in a systemic unit, and the heart will just look like a bag of worms moving around without any effective pumping.
The phony cheerleaders got a big charge out of bilking their horn dog customers. Give me a D. Give me an E. Give me an A. And another D. What do we got? We get a lot of losers on this show. Woo! But a guy who turns his back on his own family, I'd like to kill him myself.
Tell me you're going to put that up. Right here? Right up against the door.
Mitch left his wife and kids in order to find himself.
Wow, 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 wow.
And now he can be found just getting drunk and wasted with his dumb fat friend, Jocko.
It's Sophie's recital, and you know how much it means to her.
But it meant nothing to this selfish bag of pig excrement.
I have to work the whole weekend, all right? Deal with it.
The only thing Mitch cared about was setting up his new guy pad.
Oh!
Mitch was stoked. He found the one piece of furniture that tied the whole room together. A pilot's seat from an old Soviet fighter jet.
Are you serious?
It's the real thing, bro.
Mitch plopped down in his Top Gun lounge chair for a test drive.
Dude, what's that thing there between your legs?
Rule of thumb. Whenever someone asks, what does this lever do? Never, ever pull it. Turns out the fighter jet seat was not only authentic, it was hot, as in ready to launch.
Ejector seats are a lot easier to get than you think. They're supposed to be demilitarized, which means they take the rockets out and make them inert. But a lot of them, people get lazy and don't take the rockets out. And surplus stores sometimes sell live seats. I made 3 phone calls, found 3 seats in less than an hour that were live. Ejector seats were designed to get you out of an airplane as fast as possible. You pull a mechanism that has a timer on it. The first timer blows your cockpit off. You have half a second. Then it starts firing the rockets, which shoot you up a set of rails and out of the aircraft. You can go 200 feet high in a couple seconds.
Mitch only made it about 10. His skull cracked like an egg. His brains scrambled. There's a word for guys who abandon their families.
I have to work the whole weekend.
All right, deal with it.
Deadbeat. But there's a simpler, even better one for Mitch. dead. Connie was in a funk. The acting career she imagined hadn't panned out. Her best performance so far was pretending to be awake at her temp jobs. Desperate for a change, she was ready to sell out. Her plan, become a stripper. She lacked only one, make that two things to get going.
Motivations that drive young ladies to have extraordinary large breast implants stems from often a desire to feel accepted, which does inspire a lot of young ladies to overly enhance their physique.
Connie surfed the internet for the cheapest boob job she could afford. She found it.
Okay, just tell me what it is that you want.
I want stripper boobs, okay? I want melons, I want gazonkas, bonkers. I don't want to see my feet. Just the biggest you can make them.
Your wish is my command. Okay?
This quack would do anything as long as you paid cash.
I promise to give you the biggest tatas in all of Southern California.
Okay.
Now, let's go and cut this bimbo open.
Two weeks later, Connie boarded a flight to Vegas, a new woman. As she took her seat, she couldn't help but notice all the double takes on her double Ds.
Dad.
Sorry.
Hi.
Hi.
Ma'am, do you mind if I put your armrest down?
Thanks.
Anytime.
The plane took off, and Connie could feel it. Her luck was changing. What she really felt was the stirring of air bubbles and other gases trapped in her new knockers. Turns out, she got what she paid for. Her plastic surgeon had used substandard implants, barely one step above water balloons. They had no business winding up inside a woman's chest.
Certain gases actually have a lower density than other gases, and so some gases actually can expand to a greater amount and to apply a greater pressure as the altitude changes.
As the plane climbed out, the gurgling noise grew louder.
Oh my God! Ah! Oh my God!
Her lovely lady lumps started expanding at an alarming rate. They grew to ridiculous proportions.
That stripper's gonna bomb in her chest! We're gonna die!
When the plane hit 20,000 feet,
Young lady getting on an airplane who has extremely large implants, she's going to be exposed to a slightly lower atmospheric pressure, which could lead to failure and catastrophic outcome.
Connie thought bigger boobs would give her a new lease on life. Too bad death stepped in and popped her balloon.